Hey, how's it going, guys? Thought I'd show you this project that I've been working on in Houdini this evening. So check this out. So basically, there are two main things that I kind of want to show tonight. Uh, One of them is this really cool crystal generator thingamabob that I made, um, and it's really nifty because it can just generate all sorts of unique random ones, which is cool. Um, Yeah, but then the other half, which is surprisingly in my mind quite a bit more exciting, uh, is this. These are actual cut files, or this is the design files that you could send to a laser cutter to like actually fabricate the thing. And it's nifty because it puts in like the point numbers to help you assemble the thing. And check it out. So I made one. So this is just some plastic that I laser cut and then um, taped together. It was really crude just to, I just really wanted to see if the pieces actually fit together the right way, which they do. So, in any case, let's take a look at it a little bit more. So, first thing is, we've got this crystal generator thing here. Um, and like I said, it's got the seed value here that allows you to generate different instances. But it's got some other parameters that allow you to kind of generally control the general look. So we can change the height to make them taller or smaller. We can change the radius. Like that. This base allows us to control like how kind of pointy it is. So we can set it at 0 and it'll just be perfectly parallel. Or we can move it in a little bit so that the base shrinks. It's all kind of just what you're going for. Um, then these facets over here, this is setting the setting up angles. So if I increase this, you'll see that uh, there we go, kind of like the general depth of these cuts here changes. Yeah, and I can kind of control the range of those. And it's fun because the whole time I'm making these changes, the plans are updating at the same time. Um, yeah, so there's that part. Uh, if you're interested, here's the actual subnet that controls it. It's basically just we start off with a tube, then we kind of shrink the bottom according to that one parameter, um, and then this for each loop is where the fun is. This basically takes the tube and just kind of randomly picks a chunk to lob off. So cut here, cut there, cut this way. Um, and then the rest of this stuff is just to kind of clean up any extra points or little forms that might be hanging around. Um, yeah. So then there's the other part. So the other part here is the actually generating the cut designs, which is everything from here down. So generically speaking, what we're doing is let me get this thing set up. All right, so there's our crystal, right? So I've got a point wrangle in here that holds on to the original point numbers, which will become important in a minute. I have this facet node, which doesn't really appear to do anything at first, except for I have this unique points checked, which means that all the polygons get separated. They're no longer attached to each other, which if we look at the exploded view, we can kind of see what that's doing. So basically just separates them out like that, right? Cool. So we take those and we align them, run them through this alignment node, which makes everything look all sorts of funny. But what it's actually doing is taking all the polygons and making them face the XY plane, which is super cool. And then this next part is it's just magic, I tell you. All right, so there's this UV layout node. Uh, and this is normally used for like doing textures, UV textures and whatnot. But if you change the UV attribute to P, which is the point in space, it'll actually just move the geometry around and line it up. And not only that, the second input on this thing allows you to specify what it needs to fit inside of. So, in my case here, this rectangle is the same size as the cut area on my laser cutter over there, which means I can have this thing automatically cut or take the shapes and move them all around and spin them and try to find a spot that uses the material efficiently, which is just super cool if you ask me. I gotta say, uh, I watched some tutorials by Intagma to figure out how to do that. Those guys are super awesome. You should check out their channel if you're interested in learning Houdini stuff. Okay, cool. So that gets us the layout, but it doesn't get us the numbers and everything. So the next business here is I wanted to have these point numbers set up so that when I went to go assemble this thing, I could figure out the puzzle and figure out what needs to go next to what. So basically, what it is if we look at the original form here, and we turn on point numbers. Oh dear, why aren't we panning? So the original point numbers. This point wrangle up here was actually responsible for kind of preserving those numbers, so that after we go through the facet node, we can hold on to them. So anyway, I digress. So anyway, we get to the poly expand here, which just insets the polygons a little bit, and that's what I'm using to figure out where to actually show the numbers here. Let me turn off those things. So once I've got that, then I use a for each loop, and I use the text from the ID attribute, which again is that point wrangle up there. I use that to set the text corresponding to the original point numbers, and then just copy them over to their location. Then after that, we just merge some stuff together, and then we export that to SVG, which again, the Intagma guys helped out with this. I did end up doing a little bit extra work on their Python code to have it output colors, and also automatically just take the size of the elements. Well, sorry, the actual raw units that are in the geometry instead of trying to scale it up or down like they were doing. But yeah, mostly just to get it closed shapes and adding the color. The color is important for me because the Glowforge, the laser cutter that I use, it uses the colors to separate out whether you should etch or cut. And in my case, I don't want to actually cut the numbers out. I just kind of want to etch them onto the backside. Yeah, which it does, and it works, and everything's fun. I will say the number thing isn't perfect. You can tell some obvious problems here, like the 12 and the 13 here, and the 17 and the 16 are kind of overlapping. That's just because the way I'm laying these things out with the poly expand isn't the smartest thing in the world, but it's enough to help me figure it out. So yeah. Anyway, that's the gist of it, and it works. I cut out one of these things, and yeah, that's super fun. Anyway, I've rambled on for way too long. Talk to you guys later.